Hey, sippers!
Hello, little sippers. How are you doing? This is Art Sippers.
Art Sippers! So you're here for the Art Sippers Challenge. I hope you are. It's going to be good fun. All right, should we quickly introduce
Let's do it. So, my name is Elliot Naughty. They call me Naughty around here.
Naughty. And I am NorteyPitcher. They call me Pitcher around here.
NorteyPitcher. It was meant to be a naughty picture. So, we are Art Sippers, and we are going to take you on to a roller coaster of emotions. We're going to take you from zero to Picasso in 90 minutes, to be exact. 90 minutes.
We are building your confidence muscle today. Trying to build that confidence muscle, get you creative with some art. So should we show you? Should we show them the art?
Let's show them what we're going to be creating today. What have we got?
So this is the art part of Art Sippers.
This is not a cupcake, it's a Cupbake.
That's what we're calling it. This is Cupbake today. You're going to be painting Cupbake. And we're going to get super creative today. We're going to paint this, get a little bit flickety,
I like
flickety in abstract.
Yes.
You can get creative as well and change up the colours. We have painted this in our Art Sippers colours.
Oh yes, the pinks, the blues. This is what we like, but you can choose what you would like to paint it in. What colours do you like? You can go off piece and do what you like if you want to.
Yeah, do you have some favourite colours, or do you have a favourite cupcake that you usually go for? Do you go for the chocolate cupcake? Maybe you want to do chocolate icing instead of this strawberry icing. So you can get creative with it. You don't have to though. You can follow along with us if you want to as well.
100.
So, Cupbake. That's what we're painting.
This is what you're going to have. So we're not called Art Sippers for any reason. We're called Art Sippers because we have this. Belly the bell. Get in my belly. So every time we press belly the bell, you guys at home have to do something for us.
You gotta have a cheeky little sip.
Yes. So we're sipping on some Esprella, some lovely, lovely juice. But you can sip anything you want. You can sip on some water. You can sip on some tea. Anything you sip on, it's just to give you a moment to pause and reflect. And to not think that life is so serious, because we're just doing art.
We're having fun with it today. We're having fun with it. So have a sip. So dig into your box, find your drink. If you've got one of our experience boxes, find your Esprella drink in there. You should have all the tools in here actually. So open that up, and I'll go through the tools in a minute. But first off, let's go through the Art Sippers challenge.
Forget the tools. Tell you the rules. So step one, what you need to do is take a picture of your blank canvas.
Empty canvas when there's nothing on it. Take a picture.
This is the zero part. The zero to Picasso. That's the zero part. Take a picture of a blank canvas. Step two
is to take a picture of your final masterpiece. This is taking you to the Picasso.
Makes sense? It makes sense.
Of the final masterpiece.
And
that's
then the
second.
Third and final step. This is sometimes the hardest step, right?
It's definitely the hardest one.
What's this picture?
Is to share your work. So that means sharing your work with someone, showing someone else your work. So that could be going in and showing a family member or a friend. It could mean popping it on your wall at home and showing everybody that comes in. Or it could be cheekily putting it up on your social channel if you have a social channel.
You're feeling brave.
Good at TikTok. Put it up there. Show the world your work.
Yes.
Your art needs to be seen.
Yeah, it's not completed until you do that third and final step, which is sharing your artwork. So we're trying to build that muscle, and that last step is the one that's going to make you feel that extra bit confident on your creative journey.
Yes.
So before we get started, we're going to tell you what tools you need to create this.
The tools.
Cupbake. Go on, picture. Tell them what they need.
First off, you are going to need a pencil. We are sketching this out today. This is not a paint by numbers. So
Oh no.
It's going to rubber there if you make any mistakes. Paintbrushes. I've got 3 main paintbrushes today. We've got the big brush.
The big brush.
The big brush is used for areas of the canvas like the background here. So you might want to use the big brush for that. So grab your big brush. Then we've got medium brush. In your pack, your Art Sippers box, you will have 2 medium brushes. We're going for the one with the rounded edge. This is called a filbert brush. This is going to give us a nice smooth kind of lines for that kind of wavy icing. Medium brush. Small brush. So you need a little detail brush. This is really great for little details, like maybe the highlights on the paper cup, or maybe even the hundreds and thousands, a little sugar decoration there. So small brush, little details. You also need a paper towel, and some tap water. So disclaimer,
little sippers.
This didn't come in your box, so you're going to need to grab some.
But make sure you do not accidentally do what Pitcher's doing. Sip on your paint juice. Because we're going to be doing a lot of sipping. We're going to do a lot of sipping. So make sure that your lovely sip and your paint juice are on different sides of the table. Make it happen.
And if you do it, let us know in the comments. Comment down there. Let us know.
We want to have a laugh. It makes us giggle. It does.
All right, and then we've got some acrylic paints.
What colours have we got, Pitcher?
So we've got a range of acrylic paints. If you've got your experience box, grab your experience box, open them up. They've got tiny little foil on. Pull that foil back and squeeze a little bit onto your palette. We've got white. White paint needed a lot of times. So some white paint. Yellow, lemon yellow. In your box, you'll have 2 yellows. You have one that's a bit more of a mustard colour. That's called ochre yellow. We're going for the lemon yellow. So lemon yellow. Orange, you'll find that in there too. This is a crimson red or a magenta. If you don't have a crimson red, you can go for a magenta. Or if you wanted to, you can actually go for some fluorescent pink. Fluorescent pink is a really good one. I haven't got fluorescent pink. Maybe I'll squeeze a bit of fluorescent pink.
We'll get some of that on there.
Yeah, maybe I'll get some. If you've got a metallic as well, you can use gold, you can use silver. Blue. This is a phthalo blue. So phthalo blue. This is really very similar to the other one, the other blue that you've got in your pack as well. You might have an ultramarine. That will do fine, but this phthalo blue is a little bit better for this type of background anyway, the turquoise background. Iridium.
You need a little sip, Pitcher. She was trying to cover up that she needed a sip. Why not? Go on. You can have a little tester. Have a little sip straight away.
Okay, Iridium. Then, so that's like a bluey green. You'll have a grass green in there, but this is a Viridian. It's kind of, it'll give you that turquoise color. The same colors I have. Brilliant. Browns. So browns, we've got burnt sienna and burnt umber. You can choose both of them if you want, and then black. And that is our colour selection.
Let me add
today.
some lovely bright pink there.
Give it some bright pink and maybe even some gold a little bit later as well.
That's a great show.
And of course, you're going to need your stretched canvas. So your stretched canvas is actually you can use any of the canvases in your box. But the stretched canvas is the one on the frame, which you can hang up quite nicely. You also have a canvas panel in your box. You can use that as well. It's the same kind of thing. It's the same size, but you can't hang that one as easy. You might have to put that in a frame, or you can just kind of lean it up on your mantelpiece. So it's still really nice. But either one of them, I'm using the stretched canvas today. All right. So
and a nice bit of pink in there. Ooh, look at that. Bright pink.
Bright pink. Okay, thank you for that, Naughty. All right, so they are all of the tools we need, but we also do have a little fancy competition that takes place as well. So Naughty, do you want to go through that?
I think it's time. I think it's time to let them know what goes on in the show. So let's tell them the second part. Can you see me? Yes, you can. Yeah. So I'm going to be telling some dad jokes. Oh yes, you heard correctly. Arty-Facts and dad jokes throughout this show. So if you like dad jokes, you're in the right place. This is where you can win some prizes. So what was going to happen? I'm going to tell some Arty-Facts and dad jokes that are all going to be around cakes and bakes. Who doesn't love cakes and bakes? I love cake. Cake. So if you can guess correctly at home the answers to my dad jokes, you're going to be an extra star. And this is going to give you the extra creativity that you need to make a masterpiece. And the good thing is, at the end of the show, I want everyone, on every single little sipper, to send your creations into us in the Art Sippers Kids Club. So at the end, once you've created all your masterpieces, me and Pitcher want to see your creations, and then we're going to give a prize to the one that we feel has gone into creative levels 100.
I love it.
So Arty-Facts, dad jokes, and at the end of the show, send in your creations to win a prize.
Yeah, we can't see you right now. We can't see you. You might have to pop a little comment in there to show that you're there. We can't see you, but we do love seeing the creations at the end. So just send them over to us so we can see them. And that's part of the challenge as well. Share your work, right?
But that's so true. We're giving you a little way to send in your artwork to complete the Art Sip Challenge. But Arty-Facts, dad jokes, get your thinking berets on. It's coming. It's coming very soon. But first, let Pitcher tell us our one rule of the Art Sippers Challenge.
Yes, we do have one rule here for Art Sippers, and we do take this one quite seriously, and that is no judgment.
Ooh!
No judgment in here today.
I like that.
That's mainly kind of don't judge anyone else around you. If you're painting there with siblings, don't laugh at their work, but mainly no judgment on your own work. So it might go up and down. There might be times where you don't really like the painting, but it might come together at the end. So you have to have a bit of patience and just have some fun with it. Really, try not to judge yourself too much.
Have some fun with it.
Have some fun with
Talking
it.
about fun, we need to get you into that creative zone.
Ooh,
So sometimes
let's do it.
you just feel like you're not feeling too creative, and we need to get you feeling positive and happy. So we're going to do something called power posing. So I want everyone at home to do something for me. I want you to get your fingers and stretch them out. And then we're going to play the piano. We're stretching our fingers. We need these to create a masterpiece. So stretch them out. Give them a little exercise. And then what we're going to do, we're going to raise our fingers to the sky. And then once they're in the sky, I want you to take a deep breath in the nose.
And do the power pose.
Power pose, exhale it out. Shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. And let's do that again. It feels good, right? Let's twinkle our little fingers, play the piano. Let's stretch it up to the sky. Let's feel that power in the sky. Breathe in and shake it out. Any of that nervous energy, One more time. Let's play the piano. Let's get that power. Where's the power come from? In the sky. Breathe in and shake it out.
Shake it out.
That should make you feel calm and confident. And that's what we want to create a masterpiece. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's sit, beret.
Okay. Let's have a look at the painting quickly. Look at it close up. So this is a big cupcake. It's taken up the main part of the canvas, actually. We've got a bit of a background, bit of space down here, either side, and a bit at the top. It's taken up most of the canvas. And so we're going to go big and bold today. So try not to go too small.
Big and bold.
We're going to do a couple of lines. I start with this kind of curved line to start with. So the top of the cake. Do this big kind of curved line. And then we do these two little lines coming down and curve here. And then you've got the base of the cake to work with.
So what about the base?
Then we do lots of swirly lines to kind of get the icing done at the top here. And then we're going to work in layers throughout this. So we start by layering a kind of bold background. And then all this is applied at the end. So all this kind of texture, a lot of this texture is applied at the end. Not all of it, but most of it is kind of applied at the end when it's all kind of dry. We're going to do some low lights and some highlights on the cake. So some, lighter parts of the cake and then darker parts with the shadow there too. And then we've got this lovely kind of paper cup that we do. It sits in. And as I said before, you can change up the colours of the icing. Maybe you want to do something different instead of sugar sprinkles. So it's up to you.
Yeah, mate. Do you know what they could do? Put a little cherry on top.
Yes, the cherry on top.
That's a great idea.
Or
Pop a little
what
cherry.
else do you have on cakes? Maybe like, I don't know. You don't have chocolate flake. That's an ice cream.
Why not?
But I would.
Throw it in there. Throw it in there.
Chocolate Maltesers.
Oh, you make me hungry now.
All right, let's do this.
Let's
start with that curved angle that I was talking about. It's not directly in the middle of the canvas, but a little bit lower down from the middle. So if you look at the middle of the canvas is about here. So we're going to go lower than the middle of the canvas. And we're going to go about here, and we're just going to do this little curved line. Do it very, very gently, though.
Okay.
Curved line like this. Do this gently because we're going to do the zigzag kind of paper cup markings over that in a minute. So do your line. And then we're going to go down from that line, slightly curving in either side. Like that. Then you do a curved line at the bottom, like that. And that's going to be your cup. So I'll go through that again. So we're doing a curved line. This is coming curved in like that, either side, and then it curved round. A big kind of smiley face.
Oh, there's a little smiley face.
Then we're going down, but we're going in a little bit when we do these lines. Like that. And then you're curving these two together. So you want these lines to be the same length. That is the start of the cup.
Oh, I get it. It's the cup. It's the cup for the cake. Makes sense.
For the cake. The paper cup. Paper little cup for the cake. Okay. Should we do these zigzaggy lines?
I think we should.
This is the pleats in the cup. So can you see how these are almost like little arrows or triangles, the tops of triangles?
Oh yeah, I can.
It's like a zigzag.
Like a little crown.
Yeah, like a crown. So we're going to do that all the way round. As we get to the end here, we kind of slightly do them to the side. So we're going over like that, and then as we get to the end, they kind of go slightly to the side. Let's start in the middle and do a V in the middle. So you could do like, try and find the middle of the cake about here. Do a V. Like that. Don't do this V too small. The smaller you do the V, the more pleats you get, and it gets a little bit difficult. So try and maybe do it a little bit bigger than you think. Then do another V. And then just keep doing these kind of Vs. Can you see how I'm doing that on the line that we did? So just keep following that line around. Do the Vs. And as we start getting to the side here, you can just do them to the side a little bit more.
Oh, I like that.
There we go. You want to do the same over this side too. So big V, another big V.
Do you know what that V is for? It's for victory. That's what that's
Victory.
for. Lots of V's. See, lots of V's.
Lots of V's. Just keep doing that zigzag. As you get to the side, you can kind of go out a little bit with it. You want to make sure that it joins there. So if you have got a V coming off, just make sure you just kind of join it off a little bit. And you've pretty much got your cup then.
Oh, I like
you can, to make it look a bit more pleated, you can do lines from the bottom of the V. Like that. You see that line going down the middle?
Oh, yeah.
But the rest of them are slightly curved. Can you see that? They're going slightly curved. So anything this side of the V's, so this over this side, needs to be curved in a little bit like that. Curved in a little bit like that. Because it's coming over this side. So curve it in a little bit. And then this side curves into the middle from that angle too. So you're here and you're curving in towards this middle bit. Curve it in, curve it in, curve it in.
Oh, I like it. It's starting to look like a nice little cupcake.
Little cupcake now.
Did you know that before the invention of the muffin tin, small cakes were baked in individual ramekins? That's why they got the name cupcakes.
So they're on tiny little cups. Has anyone ever made a mug cake? Mug cake, microwave mug cake?
Oh, you said that before.
Yeah, I've seen them a lot. Where you make it in a mug and then you put it in the microwave and it cooks it that way.
Oh, that's a great way to make it.
I don't know if they're any good. I've been wanting to try it though. It's quite an easy way of doing it.
We should do that. I think we should do it. We should definitely do one.
Try and make one day. Okay, so we've done a lot of that cup. We want to just do this little bit of the cake. Can you see this little curved line here for the cake? So this is the sponge under here. This kind of orangey sponge, slightly brown sponge. So we're gonna just do that curve there. So from over here, just do a little curve like that. And you can even do a tiny bit over this side too. Little curve.
Bit of that sponge. Tasty sponge.
Yum. You love cakes, don't you?
I do.
I do love cakes too.
Do you know what someone once told me?
What?
Life is what you bake it. It's not what you make it.
I like it.
It's what you bake it, little sippers.
You started already. Do you have a dad joke for us?
I've always got a dad joke.
I think we should hear one. Should we hear one?
I think we should.
I think we should hear one.
Okay. Let's do this. I'm going to make it nice and easy for you, sippers, to start off with. So, can you tell me, to see if you are thinking creatively, what kind of cup doesn't hold water? I think this is easy. I think this is so easy, but I'm not going to say anything because I'm going to let you give me the answer. If you got it at home, give yourself a pat on the back. Give yourself a pat on the back. What kind of cup doesn't hold water?
It's okay if you're not watching this live right now. You can answer this anytime you like. Still try and challenge yourself by putting the answer in before we say it. But yeah, if you're following this back and it's not live, perfect. Just still get involved with the dad jokes. All right. So the next part is going to be probably the hardest part. The rest, it gets a little bit easier. But this icing part is actually a little bit difficult. So let's concentrate for this bit. What we're going to do is we're going to do this big kind of shape, curvy kind of blob shape. And then we're going to carry on doing these kind of wavy lines to get this kind of flow of icing.
Love it. It's like a little mountain top, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly that. So you can find the middle of your cake again, and we're going to go up, 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 up. We want to leave some space up here, so maybe just do a little dot about here. So we're leaving some space. And then what we want to do is we want to do this big kind of curvy line like that. So it's not going further than the actual width of the cake. You're just doing a big curvy line like this.
So it's almost like a C.
Almost like a big
shape.
C.
Yeah, almost.
And then we're going to do an S shape. So starting from this, we're going to do like an S shape, like S, but it's going to join to that. So you see, we've got a big C, and then we've got a big S.
Okay.
That's going to be the curvy kind of top.
I like this way of doing it. We're doing like alphabet, C and S. I like this. What other alphabet?
It's going to be a lot of like S's, really.
Nice.
Let's go to the middle of this little blob that we've just done, a bit of icing.
Technical term is blob.
A blob of icing, a squirt of icing.
Nice.
So we're going to start here, and we're going to go curve again. Do that S shape.
Nice.
And then this time, you're going to join it from over here. So that's just almost like another curved line. So just doing these kind of wavy shapes.
So that almost looks like a paisley, or like a quotation mark.
Quotation mark, paisley. Yeah, exactly that. Let's get a bit more icing over in this corner here. Curve that round. So maybe you can go from over here, start at this part, see this big curvy bit there. Curve it round and bring it to here. So it's a big C shape again. So we're starting in the middle of this squirt of icing, come in, curving round and touching. So we're just applying these kind of wavy shapes so it looks like the icing's been squirted on. I know it doesn't look like it completely there, but that is going to give us a nice guideline to go in that direction when we're actually painting on the paint. Last couple of lines now. So we're going to start over here, bring it up again a little bit, and then we're going to curve it round. We want to curve it round to hit the top of the sponge.
Yeah.
And then you can kind of wave it in a little bit. Go in, and then just bring another line to meet that. It doesn't matter if it doesn't look exactly like mine.
No, we kind of like that, right?
Yeah, it's all going to change.
No cupcakes are
Some
the
of
same.
these lines are, when we're painting and stuff, these are all going to be swirly lines like that. Just going to use your paintbrush to do all of them. You can do a couple more kind of wavy lines. This is just where the icing is sitting underneath. On this bit here, you can curve it round if you want to. It's up to you how wavy and how much icing you want. So either way. And then you can just do a little bit more around this corner here. We'll paint that all a little bit later. But that is pretty much it.
Whoa!
We do have a bit of a almost like a shadow down here, but we'll paint that in. We don't need to really draw that in. Yes, so sippers, have a sip, have a reflection, have a look at your art. Is there anything you need to adjust, to change a little bit? Have a look, put some perspective, and have a cheeky little
I think
sip.
that's important. The sipping part is important. And I think I've given them enough time now to see if they answered correctly to the dad joke. So the first question was, what kind of cup doesn't hold water?
Is it a cupcake?
It's a cupcake! Come on! I told you they were easy. If you got that home, give yourself a little pat on the back. Well
I
done.
think if we weren't painting a cupcake, that would be harder.
I think you're
You
right.
said that to me, and I didn't know that we were painting a cupcake.
That's so true.
Definitely harder.
Well, I told you, all the jokes are going to be around cupcakes and cakes. So don't have to think too hard. It does help. It makes it easier for you. I'll make the next one harder.
Okay. I liked it. I liked it. It was a good one. It just would be harder if I didn't know. Okay, so what we're doing is we're grabbing the big brush. Grab the big brush. We're always going to get our brush slightly damp, so make sure you put it in the water, tap it off, tap any excess water. Maybe you don't want it really wet. You can even tap it on your paper towel a little bit. And we're going to mix this nice turquoise colour. As I said, you can change the colour if you wanted to, change the colour of the background, but we're going to make this turquoise colour here, and we're going to paint that all over. There's also some lighter kind of turquoise greens in there too. So maybe I'll mix a nice turquoise and an aqua green colour, and then we can blend some of them colours together while we're applying that background to give it that little bit more of a dynamic.
Yes, mix and blend, my friends. Mix and blend.
So let's make them colours.
Let's do it.
So take some white to the side for me. I'm going to get quite a big blob.
It's a big bit there.
It's about the size of a grape.
I like grapes.
Maybe even a little bit more, because we have to paint the whole of the background in this.
Ah, makes sense.
So you want to make sure that you've got enough of this one. You won't need this much for the rest of them, but this one, because it's such a large area, make sure you've got a big blob. And then what we're going to do is we're going to make a turquoise colour. Now, to make turquoise is like a greeny blue. So it's blue. It's got that slight tinge of green. And to make green, you have to add blue and yellow together. So we're going to have to add a touch of yellow to make this a bluey green colour. We do have our Viridian, which is also slightly like a turquoise, but let's make our own, and then we can always use Viridian if we want to do a little cheat later. So take the blue, not too much of it, and mix it in here. Ooh. Now, blue is strong, so it will go dark quite quickly because white is, of course, quite a light color. Well, it's the lightest colour. It is the lightest colour. It is. Because it's light, you don't need too much. Yeah. Don't need too much blue. Can you see how I'm kind of mixing these colours together, but try not to do a really big circle mix like that? I'm kind of folding the paint together, folding it on top of each other, pulling it, dragging it, pulling it, maybe turn my brush a little bit, get some of that paint off to mix it that way. If you mix it like that, it can dry out. Try not to do that. So there's my blue. If I want to go a bit more turquoise, which is that bluey green, just a tiny bit, I need to add the smallest amount of yellow. Tiny, tiny, tiny amount. When I say tiny, I mean really tiny.
Oh, that's really tiny. Like a grain of rice?
Yeah, like a grain of rice. Yellow will make this go too green. It will make it go green if you add too much. So you just want to make it go slightly turquoise. So you just add a tiny bit. You can just add a tiny bit at a time. And if it changes colour, lovely. It just makes it that slightly bit more turquoise.
Oh,
and
like
that's
that
what you're
colour.
looking for.
It's like a sky blue colour, isn't it?
Yes, if you want to add a tiny touch more. As I said, you could cheat a little bit and you could add this green instead, the Viridian.
Ooh.
And that will also give you that kind of turquoise effect. But that's only because it's got a bit of yellow in it, and that yellow is transparent. You love a what?
I love a cheat.
You love
little hack.
Little hack.
You can find a little shortcut.
Little shortcut, yeah, of course. Okay, that is the colour of the turquoise background. That aqua green colour that I told you about, let's make that too. Now, because aqua green has a bit of blue in it, I'm actually not going to wash my brush and really use this. So I'm going to take a little bit of this white to the side and mix what I've got on the brush. All that blue that's on my brush, I can mix some of that in there. See, that's going a pastel-y blue colour. If it's not dark enough, I can always add a little bit more blue. But this one, we want to be an aqua green colour, so we want it a bit more green, limey colour.
So we're going to add
more yellow this time.
Okay.
And that is going to give you that aqua green colour. Can you see that? So that's what happens when you add too much yellow. It goes a bit more of a green, a lime greeny colour. But now we've got two lovely colours, and we can use these colours for the background when we're painting the background, and we can blend them together. Let's have a go.
Let's have a play. Let's do it.
So you can start with the green that you've got on your brush, the aqua green. Get all of it off your brush. So you want to use every bit you can.
Oh, I like that colour picture.
And then you can go in with the other blue and you can put that into. It's a nice colour, isn't it?
Lovely.
There we go. You can go over the top of the last colour, it will blend together and it will smudge in, so you can kind of see it there. Can you see that? You can kind of see that colour coming through. But we're going to paint all of the background. You want to paint the sides too?
That's always a thing, little sippers. Make sure that you paint those sides. Because when you hang up on the wall, remember, that's the final step of the Art Sippers Challenge. You'll be like, why didn't I paint the sides?
Yeah.
I can't see it looking perfect from every single angle. So this lovely color that you created, paint the top, paint the sides, and the last thing people forget is the bottom. Paint the bottom of your canvas too, so it looks good at every angle, every single one.
Yeah. Paint it all so it looks good. And you can see I'm working quite fast. I'm not painting the actual cupcake. So I'm going all the way up, maybe even on the pencil line, but I'm not painting the actual cupcakes. We're going to paint that next, so I'm going to wait for that to, we don't want that to be wet when we're painting the next step. Go in and around. If you do go over, it's okay, because we will be painting.
So it's okay, anyway. It's okay, sippers. If you do accidentally go over the line,
a little bit, it's fine.
There are no such thing as accidents in painting. There's only happy little accidents, as the famous Bob Ross used to say.
Yeah.
So we can always salvage it. We always say we can salvage it.
You can also get a little bit of that blue colour and blend that in. So if you wanted to, you can actually blend some of that dark blue in some areas as well.
So is that while it's still wet, picture?
Yeah, so when it's still wet, can you see how that's just kind of blending in together? It's quite nice, but you don't have to do that. So if you just wanted some extra darker parts, you can just add other colours in while it's wet. While it's still wet, when you're working wet and wet, they blend together, they merge together, they seamlessly kind of turn into different colours. It's like magic. There we go.
Picture, I've created a new joke.
Go on.
I've created a new joke on the spot. I don't know if it's any good.
Let's hear it.
Remember, no judgment in the room. No judgment. So, little sippers, why did the cupcake find painting easy? If you know, give yourself a pat on the back. This is just coming from my head.
Give yourself a pat on the back.
I always do. I always give myself a pat on the back. So why did the cupcake find painting easy? I'll give you a second to think about it.
I'm trying to think about it myself. Why did the cupcake find painting easy?
This is where you got to use your right side of the brain. That's the side of the brain that you are creative. So we're activating that right side. And that's why when you're creating art with your hands and also creating dad joke answers, you're using that right side of the brain, and it's activating you to use your imagination. And that's why we say, don't think too much. Just have a play. The less you think, the better you create.
I'm trying to not think, but I don't know if that answer's going to come to me if I don't think.
Usually we say, say what you see. Don't overthink it. That's the best thing about that.
Maybe I am overthinking.
Yeah, sometimes we overthink. Usually we think too much. And that's why we're wanting you to just think less. Think less, do more.
Overthinking can sometimes paralyze you from doing anything.
So true.
And that's the issue with overthinking, is that you can sometimes talk yourself out of doing things. You don't want to do that, because then you miss out on the fun in life.
You miss out on the fun.
So try to be kind to yourself, have some fun.
That's why we say no judgment, right?
Yeah, like you can tell this is not going well, and then stop, and then you won't have a lovely masterpiece.
Exactly. And this is a nice reminder. When you hang this up on the wall, this is a nice reminder to yourself. This is who it's for yourself, to know, I wasn't sure if I could do this. And then I took the time, was a bit patient. Maybe I was a bit nervous at first, but I got through it. Yeah. And I completed something which was quite challenging, but I can actually always get to the end. And that's what doing the Art Sippers Challenge is all about. Go from zero to Picasso, so that every time you look at your artwork, you can be like, I can do it.
Yeah.
I can.
I tried it as well. Like, potentially this might not be your your best masterpiece ever created. That's okay, because you're doing the reps, you're learning as you participate. You're learning these skills, and you're one step closer to creating maybe your next masterpiece.
Exactly. This might be your first ever painting.
Yeah.
Is this your first ever painting? Anyone? Is this your first ever painting? If it is, let us know. This is what we say. Send in your masterpieces. This might be your first ever. Some people might paint all the time, and that's why we're all at different levels.
So you can't compare.
No compare. No compare.
So if you was comparison is a thief of joy.
That's the one.
Lovely saying. If you was to compare, if you was to compare your artwork to my artwork, it's not a fair game. I've done this. I've already painted this. I've painted many a times. I paint on a daily basis. So for you to compare yourself to someone, you don't know what level they're and how much practice they've had. Even in school, and if you're comparing yourself against your friends who are sitting next to you in class, you don't know how much practice. They might be painting all the time at home. So you think, oh, wow, they're really good. They could have had so much practice. It doesn't mean that you can't get there either.
That's so true. So everyone's artwork is their own unique masterpiece. And be proud of yours. Be proud of your unique creation.
Art is so subjective too. What some people think is a great piece of art, other people don't think it's a good piece of art. So if someone doesn't like your artwork,
that's why you got to build your confidence around it, right?
You got to remember that there's someone out there who probably really likes it.
So that's why this is all about building your own creative confidence muscle. So that sometimes someone might go, I'm not too sure about that. You can be like, well, I like it.
I like it.
I like it. And that's important. That's the important thing.
And that's the same with anything. You might like your hair a certain way. Some other people might not like your hair like that, or like having their hair like that. But it's you. And that's
it's
all
about you. They might not like your trainers. They might be like, don't like those trainers.
Exactly.
Guess what? I love these trainers.
I like it. And I don't care if you don't like it.
Have you been thinking about the answer? Little sippers, have you been thinking about the answer? So I threw it out to you. That joke was, why did the cupcake find the painting easy? You ready?
I don't know this one. Oh, I know it.
Go on, let's say it on three.
Because it was a piece of cake.
That's it. It was a piece of cake. Boom! The picture gets it. You should have got that too. Can't believe it. I made it up on the spot. I'm getting a high five across screens.
Hey.
Did you get that at home? If you did, give yourself a high five too.
Celebrate your wins.
Celebrate your wins. Come on.
There we go. I might add a little bit more blue down here. Whee! Very gently pop that in there. Can you see it? It's added a little bit of a texture there. What was it? Okay, we've done that. You've now painted the background. You might be a little bit behind me, but that's okay. You always catch up.
You know what you need to do?
Always watch it back.
Every time you dip, you have to have a cheeky sip, and this is a great time to pause and reflect. You've done the back of your canvas.
Yeah,
you've
done most of the background. We've obviously got to apply all the texture that we have here. I was about to sip this.
That would have been funny.
We're going to apply all this kind of texture and fun in a bit. But first off, let's make some of these colours. I think definitely the sponge colour here. We're going to make that colour here. So this is like a browny orange baby sand colour. So we're going to make a couple of these colours. The light version of it, and then also the shadowy dark version of it. And we're going to paint the sponge. So at first, it's going to be a cupcake that doesn't have the paper cup, and then we'll paint the paper cup. So try and visualize it without the cup to start with. When you eat your cupcake and you take all, do you ever take the paper off? Not many people do. You take all the paper off. Imagine what it looks like with all the paper taken off. That's what we're going to paint to start with. And then we'll paint the cup when that bit's dry. All right. So, you got another joke for us?
I think I do.
Let's do it. I like your jokes.
You like them? Yeah. You're getting them today.
I got one.
Let's see if you can get this one. Can you tell me, little sippers, what type of cake do they serve in heaven?
A piece of cake. I'm going to answer that all the time now.
She's just going to throw it out there. Keep saying piece of cake. So what type of cake do they serve up in heaven? I'll let you ponder that one. Let you think about them for a bit.
Think about your cakes.
Think about your cakes. Who's a cake fan?
We don't need the pencil anymore, so get rid of the pencil. Now, wash your brush. So, paint the bottom of the cup. Tap it off. I've mixing it so much it created bubbles. and then wipe that on the paper towel. So you want to wipe this little metal part here and paint the paper towel, get any off, and leave it lying down on the paper towel. So try not to leave all your paintbrushes sitting in the water. Pop them down on the paper towel. All right, so let's have a look at the colours that we need to create next. So we're actually going to move to our medium brush for this mixing now. So grab your medium brush, always get it slightly damp. Let's make this orange colour, orangey brown colour here. What we're going to do is we're going to make like a peachy colour. So white and orange creates a peachy colour. And then we're going to make it a little bit more sandy by adding a bit of brown. Okay, so take some white to the side for me. Try and make sure that none of that blue is in there. Take some white to the side. Taking a couple of bits of white. So we're still making quite a lot of this colour, so make sure you make enough of it so that we can paint the whole cake and not have to make much more. Let's put a bit of orange in there, not too much orange because we're going for a peachy colour. A little bit of orange. This is going to give us like an orangey, peachy colour. Then we're going to add a touch of yellow in there. So add a touch of yellow in there, and that's going to slightly make it a bit more cakey colour. So we want to warm it up. So add some yellow in there.
I love the word cakey. Is cakey even a real word?
I don't know. Loads of words.
But we like cakey. We're going to say cakey.
Colour.
Cakey colour. So it's the thing now.
So we've gone from like a corally colour to a bit more of a peach. Now to make this a little bit browner, I like to add some burnt sienna. So this burnt sienna colour here, not too much, but add some burnt sienna in here and it will start going a bit browner.
So what size brush are you mixing there with, Pitcher?
Medium brush.
The medium brush, okay.
So I'll tell you that again. That's white, a bit of orange, a bit of yellow, and a bit of burnt sienna.
So we've got 3 colours in there we're mixing.
Or actually, there is another way you can make this.
Oh, really?
That is to use your yellow ochre colour. So you know that mustard colour?
Oh, yeah.
Here we go. I'll get some. That mustard colour there. This mustard colour, the yellow ochre that you've got in your pack, that also has, that yellow ochre is made from yellow, orange, and a bit of brown. So you can also do that. So you take some white to the side, add a bit of that yellow ochre colour. You see how that's a similar colour? That one's just got a little bit more yellow in it. We've got a bit more yellow. So you can just see you're getting that cake colour. A beige colour. Make sure that there's enough yellow in there though. You want it to be a bit more of a yellowy orange. Mix them together so we have one colour now. So you can use either one. You could make your own or you could just use the ochre. Put some white in it. Maybe put a little bit of your yellows to make it change colour. We want to make a browner version of that. We need to add more brown. To do the same thing again, take some white, add some orange, add some yellow. Same thing again. But this time, add more brown.
I like that.
Add more of your brown to make it darker.
Does that give you the cakey colour?
Mm-hmm. Still going to be a cakey colour, but we're making it a bit darker. It's a bit more of the brown.
Some people like their cakes a little bit more browner, or some people like them more spongy, a bit softer.
Yeah, sometimes the cake is quite yellowy, and sometimes it's a little bit darker. So we were making this kind of darker brown. You can actually add a touch of the darker brown or black to make this a bit darker, just a tiny touch darker. So you can go with either the dark brown or black. Just keep playing with it, but it needs to be a kind of shadowy colour. So it needs to be darker than this. It needs to be the shadow version of it. So it's the darker version. So you could do that if you wanted to with the ochre yellow and add some brown that way, instead of making your own ochre. Just make sure it's fully mixed. Might make it a tiny touch darker. It's not really changing. So can you see we've got a light version and then a dark version?
So we're making two different versions of our cake colours.
Yeah.
Love it.
So we're making a light kind of yellowy brown and then a bit more of a dark brown. Okay. All right, so once we've got these colours, we're going to paint our sponge.
Oh, it's time to get cakey. Time to get
washing
baking.
my brush. Time to get baking.
I have a cheeky sip. So, have you been thinking?
Yeah, I want to hear it.
Okay, so the question was, what type of cake do they serve in heaven? I don't know if Pitcher got this one, but you might have got this one at home. So what type of cake do they serve in heaven? Angel cake!
Yay,
come on!
That's good.
Come on! Did you get that one?
I like that.
If you did, well done. Give yourself an extra sip for that one.
So we're going to paint this whole entire base, the sponge. Just as a quick note, this side of the cake is a little bit darker. Can you see the darker browns coming through a little bit? Also the shadow around this little rim part here. This side is a bit lighter. So that means that the light is actually coming from this direction a little bit. This direction. So it's lighter this side and then goes darker that side. So we're going to play around with that. Let's get our medium brush. And we're going in with the light colour here. Get some of that. And we're going to paint this sponge. So this sponge bit here. Underneath the icing. Yep. Paint all this bit here. So this is the top of the sponge. It's nice and light. Okay. Okay. Put that bit there. And we're actually going to paint this down the side here too, like this. All the way to the edge. Down there. And painting it down. Like that. I know it's going to look weird right now.
Yeah, don't judge it just yet. Don't judge it. We're on 0 to Picasso. So we're not at the Picasso part just yet.
Yeah, you're going to have to be patient with this one because it's going to look weird for a while. There we go. Okay, all that there. all this side. And as soon as we start getting over to this side, I want you to just use a touch of the darker colour over this side. See that colour there? Use that darker colour over this side a little bit.
Ooh, I like that. Oh, I got an artifact. Got an artifact.
Go on.
So, did you know that back in the day, cupcakes are actually called number cakes?
Huh?
Did you know that? Number cakes. They weren't called cupcakes, they were called number cakes. Reason? Or they're called 1, 2, 3, 4 cakes even. Because the recipe back then was 1 cup of butter, 2 cups of sugar, 3 cups of flour, and 4 eggs.
That's cool.
And an extra 1 cup of milk and 1 spoonful of baking soda. So they used to call it the 1, 2, 3, 4 cake or number cake.
That's cool.
So you might hear that. Keep that
Number
information in your nugget.
Yeah, if you want to make some. So I'm using the darker colour over this side. Going down. So you can halfway across, use the dark colour. Like that. Go up, go up, go up. The bottom here, use that too. It is looking weird right now, but don't worry. We'll get there. We don't want this harsh line, so we want to blend this out. So then you just overlap it with the light colour, blend it out a bit. So you just go over that line like that, up and down, so you don't get that harsh line. Smudging them together. So you smudge that together like that. So you get that. And you can actually bring some of the dark colour over this side too. Go down like that. That's going to create some shadows. So get some of that dark colour. Just do a couple of lines like that. Remember
so you're
where
brushing
your
up
V is.
in a little upward motion.
Yeah, up and down like
Nice.
that. So you've got the dark colour over this side and the light colour over this side. So the light and the dark. So you've got the light over this side, up and down over here. Like that. And then you've got the dark over this. And you can actually bring in a couple of light over here too. Just a little bit. Do a couple of lines. Like that. We need to focus back on the top of the cake again because I did a couple of mistakes. I pulled it up. So bring that light back here again. But also get your dark and just go around the rim here. Remember that curved line where we did the zigzags?
Oh yeah, V for victory.
Do them zigzags if you can see them still. If you can't, just do zigzags like that with the dark colour. That's going to create that little bit of shadow on the sponge. See it. If your medium brush is too big for that zigzag, you can go in with the small brush. I'll show you. So this is this bit here. We're just doing a couple of these triangles, but we're doing them in the dark colour. So that dark colour that we mixed. Remember them V's we did? Try and find them V's again.
This with a small brush now, little sippers.
Yeah. It will all come together. It looks strange right now.
While you're focusing on this, I'm going to distract you. I'm going to distract you with a dad joke. Yes, that's what I'm going to do. It's time for the distraction. Let's see if I can get you in your creative zone. Are you ready for this, little sippers? Are you ready? I'll give you a little second. Get your crave berries on. Okay, what did the cupcake say to the other? Yes, that's simple. What did the cupcake say to the other? Say what you see. Say what you see.
You can get a bit more of that brown, make it even darker, or just grab some of the brown and blend it in. Just do a couple of these lines going like that from the V's. Some of them curved lines we did, remember? Just a couple of them, maybe even a little one over here. Can you see how all of a sudden it's starting to look bit more 3D now.
Oh, it really
You've got the
is.
shaded area and the highlighted area. So this is the light side, it's the dark side. So it makes it look like it's curved. That's just a little trick of lighting. Just make sure you go up and down and you stay curved. Okay, I think we are done with that bit. If you wanted a tiniest little bit more of a highlight, grab a bit of white, mix it into your light color, even lighter. So even lighter, just a tiny bit lighter, you don't want it. You can just add a tiny touch more of that bright color up here. It gives you a bit more of a highlighted sponge. Makes it look even heavier. Bring some of that color as well into the couple of little highlights. So these are called highlights and lowlights. This is where the light hits it.
Oh, you can really see those different hints of those cakey colours coming through now.
Yeah.
I love that we got a new word for it, cakey colours.
Cakey colours. Okay, let's leave that to dry.
Oh, I think it's thirsty work, isn't it, Pitcher?
It is. I think we need a sip.
I think we do.
Oh.
So you're still thinking about the last dad joke, sippers? Question was, what did the cupcake say to the other? Do you know? I'll give you a second. Give you a second.
Say to the other. That's a hard one. Okay. Time for the icing. You might want to do chocolate icing, therefore you might want to go with your browns, your dark browns, and your light browns. And we're going to go for light pinks and darker pinks. You'll have a look here. So we've got some of the darker pinks, which I've used kind of as the fluorescent pink. If you don't have fluorescent pink, we can just use a darker pink. Maybe we can make it a bit more purpley. And then we've got these pastel pinks too. And then we've got the white. Can you actually see the white? So I don't know if you can tell, but it's actually, I've put it on really thick.
Oh, yes, I can see. That's a thick bit of icing.
Yeah, so it looks like icing. So we are going to play around with just applying the paint really, really thickly as well, so that it looks like it's coming off the page.
I like that. Lay it on thick.
Lay it on thick. All right, so let's make some of these colors. Let's grab our medium brush, so we need to make sure that all of that yellow and that color is all off. Yellow and the blues and any of them colors that we've used. We'll go back to adding our cup later. Let's go in with a pastel pink to start with. So you're going to want to take some white to the side and put some of your red in there. So you want to use a little bit. If we're going for a pastel color, a light one, the pastel is a light color. So you want to just apply a tiny bit of red, and that's going to give you quite a nice pastel-y pink to start with. I'm going to get some more white quickly.
I'll get that for you, Pitcher.
Thank you.
I'll be your little helper today.
Thank you. If you just squeeze it on top of there. It's a bit blocked.
There we go. It happens. When you've got paint, you'll find that sometimes your paint doesn't come out as easy as possible. It makes noises like that.
So take some white, put a little bit of pink in there. This is going to give you a nice pastel pink colour. If you want to, you can even add a touch of yellow. So yellow is actually going to make this go a little bit more peachy colour if you wanted to. If you've got a fluorescent pink, you can actually use fluorescent pink instead. Now, I love fluorescent pink because it gives me this really nice, bright pastel pink.
That's vibrant.
Nice and vibrant, isn't it?
Yeah, that really is.
Can you see?
Oh, I like that.
Lovely, vibrant. So that's why it's really nice to get a vibrant kind of fluorescent pink, because you can make really nice oranges, fluorescent oranges, and if you add yellow to that. So it's a bit more pastel-y and brighter than the other pink, but you can use whichever one you've got. So now we've got a light one. We want to make a kind of, we've got our medium, which we can just use, but let's make a darker version as well. So you can actually add a pink and a very, very small touch of blue.
Ooh, okay.
Not too much, but it's going to make you a purple colour.
Oh, my favourite colour. I love it.
Add some white in there too. And you've got a darker kind of pinky purpley colour. So that's going to be our shadow.
Love that.
So you can add a bit more red if it goes a bit too purple. So that's going to be a dark colour. We want to use the dark and the light. So you just want to change it around to get the feeling that there's shadows and there's highlights. So you've got our purple. We'll add a bit more white if we need it to be lighter. But let's have a play with that. We're going to play with these swirls. So let's start with our purpley colour. And we're going to do it on the lines where we did the pencil. So you want to go down around here, paint over your pencil. And we're going to work fast with these colours because we do kind of want them to blend in a little bit as well. So do that over the lines. Remember our pencil lines are, we don't want to see our pencil lines when the finished painting is done.
And so, this is with a medium brush picture?
Yeah, medium brush. So just paint round your lines and over the top of your lines. Maybe down here.
So you're making that look really nice and smooth. So how do you make sure you're getting that smoothness?
If your paint is a little bit dry, you can add a touch of water in there. That's why I said always use a damp brush, because you want to have a little bit of water, just a tiny touch to make it go smoother. So if it's not going very smooth, just add a touch more water, or maybe add a bit more paint. Maybe you haven't got enough paint. So you see I'm going over these lines.
So all those alphabet letters we did earlier, we're going over them now. So that C right at the top there, that S that we did afterwards, we're doing all of those again in this lovely purple colour that you created.
This is going to make it look a little bit more shadowed. That's going to give us a little bit of definition. It's quite nice actually to do a couple of little lines through there too.
Oh, nice little wavy lines.
A couple of little wavy lines.
It almost looks like a 99 ice cream, doesn't it?
Doesn't it, at the moment? Put some of these lines. And we're going to work fast because these are going to blend out in a minute. There we go. So let's use some of our other colours. We made a lovely pastel pink colour. Should we use some of that? Let's use some of that. Get my pastel pink. I'm just going to make a little bit more up. You want to make sure that you've got enough so we can apply the paint quite thick. So remember, if you've got fluorescent pink, use that. If you haven't, use your crimson red or your magenta and use that colour. That's going to give you a nice colour too. And then we're going to start painting in the same direction that we did the lines. Okay, so that's what we want to aim for, is every single line we do, we want to do it in the same direction where we've got all these lines. So let's start here. We want to go big, thick paintbrush.
Nice.
Like that. Can you see that? Big, thick lines.
So we're doing it in one direction. Just
yeah,
like
get a lot on your brush. Go down, plaster it on, and keep doing them wavy lines. And can you see it's getting a little bit of highlights and lowlights?
I do.
It's going to look like it's just squirted on top. Overlap some of them lines that we did, the purple lines. You don't want them that thick, so overlap them a little bit. Again, lots on my brush. This one, let's start with this one over here. So we're coming down and around. Go underneath that purple line.
Oh, this looks fun.
Down and around. Good fun. Just do each section. So these are sections. That's a section. That's a section. That's a section.
So do one by one.
One by one. Let's go in this one. We want to go round here. Oi.
I feel like you should make a sound effect of each one.
Oi.
It's like a little swooshing move. I love it. It's so cool.
You see your pencil lines? Try and paint over them a little bit. You don't want to see them pencil lines.
No, you don't.
Again, I'm going to use the rest of this colour here. I'm running out of paint a little bit because I'm painting so thick. It's okay. Hopefully I've got enough to...
That's why we say make quite a lot of these paints.
Yeah, make the colour so we can paint thick. Remember, white and
So
your
white,
red.
Red.
Touch of yellow if you want it a little bit more.
Little touch of yellow.
Oh, you get it my face.
Oh, that was close.
So definitely my one's got a little bit more purple because I was using the fluorescent pink the first time around. So if you're using my box, if you're using the Arty-Facts Creative box, you'll definitely get a bit more of a purpley colour at this point. But it still looks beautiful.
Oh, I'm liking that. So now you've been swirling around. Has an answer been swirling around in your head? So I asked you, what did one cupcake say to the other? The answer was absolutely muffin.
Yeah, that's good.
not nothing. Muffin. Did you get that? Did you get that? Was quite a hard one. That was quite a hard one. Yes, because you got cupcakes and you got muffins. People always ask, what's the difference between a cupcake and a muffin? Well, cupcakes recipes generally have more sugar and fat.
Oh.
So you got things like butter, oil, dairy, things like that. Than muffins, and may include ingredients like whipped eggs or even mayo. Did you know that? Even mayo for some texture.
I guess mayo is just eggs, isn't it?
Exactly, and even some cupcakes, usually like we've got right now, includes frosting. Muffins don't usually have that.
I like a muffin as well. So you can actually go in with your pink, your red, your crimson red, and you can do parts of this cake in this colour if you wanted to as well. Maybe you want a bit more of a strawberry jam icing.
Ooh, tasty.
That's going to give you extra colour in there. Just have a play and keep doing your little swirls. I like to go in with my pink, my fluorescent pink.
Always going bright.
So I'm using my pink. Keep doing the swirls. Maybe there's a little curl around here. Remember, this is not a realistic painting. We're going a bit abstract with some of this. So you don't need it to look exactly picture perfect.
Oh, I like what you did there. Picture perfect.
You want it to be a bit abstract.
Threw her name in there. So she did there, little sippers.
Yeah.
I think that's a bit naughty.
See what you did there. So keep applying some of the pink. If you've got pink, maybe you want to add some brown in. And then you can go in with some of the white as well. Maybe you want to go in with some big, bold white. Take some of your white. I haven't washed my brush because I actually quite like all these colours blending together, because it kind of creates that effect that it's just been squirted on. And it's just all the different colours coming through. So get some white. I'm going to wash my brush and got a bit of yellow on my brush.
Oh, and we have a rule at Art Sippers. Every time we dip, we have to have a cheeky sip. Oh, yes.
Cheeky, cheeky, cheeky. There we go. So put some white in there. See, it's kind of coming together. A bit more white over here. I like to apply the white. I think it looks really good. It stands out dramatically.
It really does, doesn't it?
Yeah, so it's quite thick so that it dries thick too. Maybe put a little bit down here. Hold it back, get some perspective. Hold it back. What does it need? I like to put maybe a little bit of a darker colour just underneath here. So it looks a little bit shaded at the bottom. Just keep playing with the colours. You can do whatever you want. This is your piece of art.
This is your masterpiece, little sippers.
Doesn't need to look like mine.
No, we want it to look individual and unique. And while Pitcher is washing her brush, I'm going to see if I can get you another dad joke. I can feel you want one. I can feel you want one. This is a little bit harder, but we're going to get this one. You ready? You ready? Okay. What do you get when you put Coca-Cola in an oven? Please don't try this at home. Please don't try this at home. But what do you get when you put Coca-Cola in the oven? You can get this. It's a bit harder. I've stepped up a level, but you can get this.
All right, I think I'm done with that. Let's do the paper cup.
Let's do it.
So we're going to get our medium brush again. This time we're going to make a grey colour. Take some white to the side. And put a very small, very, very small amount of black on there.
Did you hear that? Little Sippers, very small.
Like a hundreds and thousand size grain. And then put that black into the white, and you're going to see a very light grey come together. Can you see that? It's a light grey. It's an off-white almost. So white and a touch, very, very small touch of black. That is going to be the colour of our cup. We are going to wash our medium brush, leave it lying down, and we're going to go in with our small brush. And make sure your small brush is clean. And if you want to, you can drop a couple of drops of water into your grey paint. That's going to make it slightly runnier. If you get a runnier paint, it's going to be easier to use the small brush. So put a couple of droplets of water into your grey paint. If you need to wash your brush again because it's all plugged up, do. Always want to make sure that you've got the bristles nice when you're doing thin lines. Dip into your runny grey paint. Remember them V's we did?
For victory!
We're going to do them V's again. We're going to do the V's and then we're going to do little lines going down. But we're not going to go all the way down with the lines. We're just going to go a little way. Let's have a look. We kind of can see the V's a little bit from our dark brown rim. Let's start with the V. Let's start here in the centre. Can you see that? I'm going to get that up there. Start doing them V's. There we go. You can see them quite thick. This is the rim of the cup, the paper cup. Your edges.
And this is where you're using that small brush at the moment, and you'll find that you get into a bit of a very focused state. You might even have a focused face. So we find that people, when they're using this brush, they stick out their tongues for focus. Some people, they frown their eyebrows. And even, so this is what Pitcher does, she holds her breath.
Yeah.
She holds her breath when she's using a little brush because she thinks it gives her a bit more focus to get those details in. So what do you do, little sippers? Do you do any of those things when you're using a little brush?
That happens. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull this into a bit of a bigger V now. Just a tiny bit of a bigger V at the front. It's going to make the cup look a little bit bigger. So turn them into a little bit bigger V's. Just a little bit. And then at the bottom of them V's, we're going to do a line. Remember them lines? We're going to do a line that goes down like that. Remember how we did them lines at the beginning? If you're this side, you're curving in a little bit. Curving in just a tiny bit. See?
Oh, I like that.
Can you see how it's already looking a little bit like a case?
Yeah, that's almost like magic how you've done that.
It's really weird. Because you know with the cakes, they kind of, you can see the sponge and they kind of stick, but they're very thin paper. So we're making it look very thin.
Very thin. Almost, yes, that, they call it, I think it's translucent.
Translucent, yeah.
So you can see through on the other side, so you can see that cakiness, the cakiness of your cupcake.
Yeah. There we go. And we want to do them this side, we're curving in towards that way. So we're just curving in a little bit that way. So instead of going straight down, you curve in just a little bit. In just a little bit. So you're just going inwards, curving in just a little bit.
Oh, I love that. The picture's full of little these tricks and techniques, isn't she? Love it.
There we go. And you don't have to go all the way to the bottom. But what we want to do is add a little bit around the bottom. So you don't have to do the line all the way to the bottom, but you want to do a little bit of this paper. So it looks like, you can do it a bit ruffled as well.
So just like a hint of it.
Yeah, a little hint of it. Maybe you do a little bit of a line in some places. There we go. Don't do it around the front here.
So while you're doing that bottom, you might accidentally get some paint on your fingers. And this is what happens. So don't worry, if you do get any paint on your fingers, we got baby wipes.
There we go. If you want some of it to stand out even more, you can just dip into your white and then just apply a bit of white to some of them. So I like to just apply a little bit of white to some of the V's at the top here. Maybe wash your brush if you want it to stand out a bit more. Put a little bit of that white down there too. Just do these little lines. Perfect. I think this one's got a bit wonky for me. Maybe use your baby wipe. If you've got one.
Told you, baby wipes are handy.
You can just touch it up a little bit. I think that one's got a bit too thick for me, so I can just touch it up. Get rid of some of that colour. Perfect. Now I think it's time to mess this up a little bit.
Mess this up?
Start adding a little bit of darker colour, flips, that kind of thing.
Oh,
bring this to life in the abstract way it is.
Let's bring your creation to life. So before we get crazy on the paints, let's see if you got the answer to this bad joke. So there's a bit of a crazy one too, because I said, what do you get when you put Coca-Cola in the oven? Do you know what you get?
What do you get?
Baking soda. Come on. Who got that? Who got that? That was an upper level.
That was
upper level. You got that one. Give yourself a little pat on the back. It's time to mess them up, picture.
Okay. So it's time to use some of these colours and start messing it up. There's also, if you've still got some of that dark brown, I actually like to bring in some of the dark brown, or you could just use the dark brown that you've got from your burnt umber. I do actually just like to, before I head on to the messing it all up, like to add a couple of these lines into this bit so it looks a little bit more 3D. Can you see that?
Yeah, I see that.
So if you've still got your dark brown, you can use some of these colours. You can use a medium brush or you can use a small brush. Just add some of these darker colours.
Just gives it a bit more depth in there.
Yeah, just to add a little bit more. Just not too many, but just a little bit more to add some shading. So add your brown. Can you see that? Just add a little bit of that brown and darker colour. Just a couple of little lines. That's a little bit more 3D-ness. Don't go too dark. I did a little bit too dark there. Yeah, have a play. Keep adding your colours if you need to. But let's messy this up, make it a bit more abstract. Let's have a look at this. So I've got this kind of dark blue-ish colour here. Bluey green colour coming in, some of the sides, some at the top, some over here. Definitely got some flicks here as well that's flicked everywhere, and some in the actual cupcake too. And then I've got some lighter, got some whites, got some of the pinks, got some golds. If you've got gold, you have to do that. Some blues, some lighter blues. Let's do that. So let's mix our dark green first.
Let's mix and blend, my friends.
I actually like to use the blue and the green, the Viridian. Mix them together, you'll get a bluey green colour. Lovely bluey green. It's like a phthalo turquoise.
Oh, I like that.
To make it even darker, you can add a touch of black in there. And this is going to be the colour that we use for the shaded area at the bottom. We're going to add a bit more of that green in there. Make sure it's equal parts blue and green. And this is where you're just not too pretty and delicate. You're just a little bit more kind
rough
of
with it,
rough
right?
with it, yeah. So you can apply some of this, and I'm just kind of getting lots on my paintbrush.
Is that on the side of your brush?
Yeah, so I'm kind of using the side of my brush, and I'm just going back and forth, creating this little bit of texture here. So it looks a little bit rough and ready. Goes underneath. Side of the brush, it kind of sticks to itself. There we go. Maybe a little bit over here too. Looks like the shadow of the cake. You can actually apply a little bit of this inside the cake cup too.
Well, you really are messing stuff up now.
Just start adding little bits. You don't have to do this, by the way. If you wanted to keep it pretty, you can just leave it there.
Well, do you know what this is? I think this might put a bit of icing on the cake.
Hey!
Hey!
See. If you want, you can put a bit of water in that paint that we just mixed. I've mixed my water so much, it's just a bubbly mess. But you can put a bit of water in that paint. And then if you haven't got anything too nice around you, you can do a bit of flicking.
So make sure you've got your area prepared. Pop down any protective things that you need to protect. And then go flicky. Get flicky.
I've got the medium brush. I put it on the brush and then I flick.
Whoa.
You see that? Adds a couple of little flicks. Be careful if you've got white walls, white furniture.
Things that you do not want paint on.
Things that you don't want paint on. Ask your parents, your guardian. So I'm making this look a little bit rough and ready.
Oh, I like this effect though, Pitcher.
Oh. So you can apply as much of this as you want, or if you don't feel confident flicking, you can just use a small brush. Get that same color. Oh, get that same color, and just do the dots yourself.
Ah, you can do it that way as well. Oh, that's
Yeah.
good. So if you don't want to get paint everywhere, you can use this little dot technique. It looks very similar too.
Yeah. You can apply as much as you like. You might want to just wrap it around the edges as well. Use the side of your brush. I like to use the side of my brush for that. Get very messy with this. And if you've got any other colours that you want to add in there, you can. You don't have to add the colours I'm adding in. Go around the sides as well with the roughness.
Oh, I'm liking it, this rough cupcake.
Okay, wash your brush. Let's add some white in there, some pink in there.
Oh, we're throwing it all in there.
Throw it all in there.
Let's throw it all in there. Talking about throwing it all in there, I like cupcakes, but I do like to eat a cupcake with something else sometimes. And other people like the same as me. You know what these people are? They're ghosts. Yes.
What?
They are ghosts. And can you tell me which other desserts do ghosts like to have with cupcakes?
You are confusing, man.
So can you tell me which other dessert do ghosts like to have with their cupcake? Think about it. You can get this. I'm not going to say more because you can get this. If you get it, I'm going to be proud of you. I'm making it harder. I'm making it harder now.
I'm going to apply a bit of this white. So I'm using my big brush for this one. Big brush. I got a load of white on the side of the brush. You see that?
I can see it.
And then using the side of the brush to apply some paint in certain areas. Let's put some over in this corner. Can you see how so it's almost like I'm just applying it up and down. It sticks to itself. So the paint will stick to the canvas itself. You don't need to apply too much pressure.
It's like a scratch, almost like scratching.
Scratching it
Like a DJ on a decks.
in. You can keep applying. You can even apply more of that paint to the icing if you wanted to, if you feel like it needs more. Just keep having a play. Muck it up a bit. You can add the white, maybe even want to put a bit of white down here. Maybe a bit through the cake. Maybe a little bit on the V's. Okay. Just down the side. I like to add a bit down the side there. Okay. Maybe a bit over here. Just having a look. They definitely have a look. Hold it back if you need to.
Oh, I love it. We're not playing safe anymore, Pitcher. We're really going for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Suppose I'm messing it up, but it looks good, messy, a bit more abstract,
we're
expressive.
Like going outside of our comfort zone now, so we're playing with purpose. And we're really going for it. So no more safe playing. This is a safe space, but you can get out of your comfort zone. No
you might do this bit and then go, oh no, I've completely ruined it. I liked how it was before. But do you know what? You can always paint it again. We're on YouTube. You can play this again.
That's so true.
Keep going with the flow with it. Make it a mess. See if you end up liking it. If you don't, you can start again and then you can just say no to the messy part.
I like that. That's a good message.
Let's apply some pink. So you can use your red. You've got your crimson red. I'm using the big brush again. I'm using the side. I'm just applying a little bit here. I'll do some flicky bits maybe as well. There we go. Maybe a bit here. If you've got gold or any metallic, you can also use that. Maybe I'll just do a quick flick of the pink. Definitely need to get.
Nice. I think that'd be nice.
Oh yeah, Norts, can you get me the gold?
Yeah, let's make it happen.
If you don't have gold, you can use the ochre yellow. So that mustard colour that we use, that also looks like. It also looks. Yeah. I'm gonna get some flicky white. Pink. I'm going like this because I know I'll get it all over me.
Oh, look at these little additions. They look good, right?
Oh.
So it was a random one I threw out to you, little sippers. I said, which other dessert do ghosts like to have with their cupcakes? It was random. I'm throwing you a curveball, but this is when you're really getting your creative brain working.
I have no idea this one.
You know this. I know you do. Because you love this stuff. And so do ghosts. You know why? Because I stream! With their cakes. Makes sense now.
Make an ice cream.
See?
Chocolate fudge cake and a scoop of vanilla ice cream.
Ooh, tasty stuff.
One of my faves.
It is.
So much paint on me. Okay, let's add this gold. So Naughty's popped a blob of gold on there. Gold!
Gold!
Okay, medium brush. I might go in with a medium brush. Make sure I'm washing it. I like to apply the gold near the dark greeny blue, this colour here. It really pops against it.
Ooh, I like that.
So that's usually how it stands out. So if I apply it a little bit down here, next to that greeny colour, greeny blue colour. So I find that. Otherwise, when I add it like here somewhere, it doesn't stand out as much. Can you see that difference?
Oh, I'm a fan of this.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of this. Oh, that gold is really just making that look a little bit more luxurious. Known as really luxurious cupcakes. It's expensive, this cupcake now. You have to look at the price. Not the price of this one.
So I'm going to apply a bit in this bit here where the cupcake case is. So you can see it's just applying a little bit there. Maybe a little bit over here as well. On the cake.
So we're getting to the final touches now, little sippers. Are you keeping up? Have you kept up with Pitcher? Like I said, she does go quite fast. And this is why it's great. Because you can always pause any of this and you can actually take your time to make sure you create your own perfect masterpiece.
Last little bits is some sprinkles, maybe some hundreds and thousands. So you could use your green. Maybe you want to make your green a little bit greener by adding yellow and the green together. And that hundreds and thousands. Do some lines. Tiny little lines or the little balls. Sometimes they're in balls. Be careful if your icing is still a bit wet.
That's true. You might do a little bit of a smudging action and you might not want that.
So I'm just using my medium brush, but you should probably use your small brush. But I like using my medium brush and just dabbing it like that.
Ooh, hundreds and thousands.
Maybe going with some orange. I'll go with a little full brush. Got our orange.
Ooh, I like that. That's a nice bright one.
Yeah, good bright orange. Maybe you want to do some yellow. Remember, the hundreds and thousands are going in loads of different angles. So you've got some going down, got some going across, got some going up.
So mix it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Don't keep them all straight.
Some of them might be stuck in the icing and they might just be little dots.
Oh, that's true.
A small little.
You're thinking of everything. We're thinking of everything.
Yellow. Getting there to the end now.
We are. So Pitcher's adding these amazing hundreds and thousands. You don't need to add hundreds and thousands of them, but just add a few.
Maybe you want to count until you get to 100,000.
You might be there for a while, but it'll be a very, very tasty and sugary cake.
Might have no icing there.
That's what you want your cake to look like. Remember, this is yours. This is your creation. You need to be proud of it. This is what the Arty-Facts Challenge is all about. Create something you're happy with, something you are going to put on your wall. So hopefully you're looking at it and go, do you know what? This isn't as bad as I thought it's going to turn out. This is a lot better.
Yeah. Do some blue.
Oh, I like that. So it kind of matches the background.
Yeah, it brings it out, doesn't it?
Brings it out.
I don't think I actually did that colour on my one. I actually prefer it.
See, you can always add different things. Different artwork means different feelings, different emotions. Pop anything you like onto your canvas. As Pitcher is popping on her final masterpieces, I'm just going to remind you to send in all of your creations to Art Sippers. We want to see them. Send them into the Art Sippers Kids Club on Facebook. That's our Facebook group. Private Facebook
we want
group.
to see it.
Send it in to us. We want to see them. And remember, we will choose a lucky winner who has created with us, and we'll give them a lovely prize. Well, you're all winners for taking part in the Art Sippers Challenge. I'm excited to see what you created.
We can't wait. We love going on to this Sippers Kids.
It makes us happy.
Or if you don't have in Facebook, you can send it to us on Instagram.
That's true.
Or our email, info@artsippers.
Anywhere.
Anytime as well. Like if you're catching up and this is a lot later, we still love to see this.
You can do it today, tomorrow, in a year's time. That's why the Art Sippers Challenge is up there on YouTube for you guys to watch us. So anytime you create, send it to us. We really want to see it. I'm excited. We're almost at the end. And there's one final thing you need to do before this creation is yours.
What's that, Naughty?
You need to do a little signature. Make it yours. Yes. Sign the bottom right. That's where we usually put our signatures on all of our creations. Josie does her initials, which is JP.
JP.
Pitcher.
Josie Pitcher.
What are you going to do? You're going to do your initials? You're going to do a nice whole name? What are you going to do? Make it your own. We always say you need to sign your work because this makes this creation a certified original by you. And you can always look back and go, I did that. It's got my name on it.
It might be your first ever masterpiece, so it might be worth a lot when you're a fully fledged artist.
That's so true. You can look back.
So your first original. This is my JP.
Oh, I'm liking that. So this is a nice thing to add to your cake. But you know what the best thing to put into a cake is? Secondary to jam, it's your teeth.
That's fast.
You need to eat that cake. Does your cake look tasty, unctuous? Does it make you salivate? If it does, you've done it right. You have done your cake creation right.
Hopefully you can sit back now, have a little sip and appreciate your artwork. Now mine is definitely slightly different from the first one, but it's always going to change. The more you kind of do it, the more you adapt, the more you kind of add, you might change up things a little bit. So definitely if you've enjoyed doing it, try it again, change up the colours next time maybe see if that kind of suits you more. But the more kind of you do a painting, the more reps you're going to get, the better you get over time, the bigger your muscle gets. With
Come on. So good to have you creating with us today, Sippers. And like we said, if you're watching it later, it doesn't matter. Just create and send it in to us. This is Zero to the Casa. Remember, the final rule is to send your artwork to someone.
Share
up
it.
on your wall.
Share your work. Show someone your masterpiece. That's how you build your creative confidence. So we want to say thank you today for creating with us. We've enjoyed it. I hope you've enjoyed it.
And
until next time.
Sip, beret. Stay curious.
Stay creative.
Boom.